Welcome to FileMaker Training. Hello, everyone. Miles and Garrett, or not Garrett, Miles and David, are you guys there? Do you hear me okay?
Absolutely.
Oh, great. Fantastic. I want to make sure we can see that. So, welcome to April Fool's Day, where we are going to have fun with FileMaker, but we're also going to take a rather serious tact and look at some things that we all hope were April Fool's jokes, but they're actually real. So, with that, we will start off with a couple other things that we threw together real quick for you in no specific order.
Yeah, I'm Officer Deputy here with the Santa Clara Police Department. We have a report. Well, we have a report of a FileMaker server that's running a loop. It just won't stop, and so we are now in pursuit of that server. And we called for backup, and it's looking a little dicey.
This officer, we're in pursuit. Looks like we got a server running wild, probably a script with a loop running. Yep, here they are coming up here. It looks like it's on the 560th loop, and it just will not stop.
Well, it's almost out of control. It's going to hurt someone here if we don't stop it. So let's get up here and we'll stop it right away. So I'm going to come up here right now, and I'm going to force quit the process. I'm going to stop the process right here. Oh, crap. Stop right there. Stop. Looks like we're trying to stop the process, but it's still going. It's trying to get away. It just jumped out, and it's running. Stop!
Where do you want me to go at, Carter? I'm 1060 on. Up here.
Now, we had a lot of fun with that one. That was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. We did one more, which we thought was kind of fun, and so we will definitely be doing that. We want to see that one. We might as well just have all the fun stuff now. Let's just do the fun stuff. So this one is for all of you who you'll like this one. This was good too.
Show your hands right now! Hands, don't move them!
What you want, what you want, what you gonna do when Chevy don't come for you?
Yeah, it's a tough job we do, you know, patrolling the highways and the byways of America, looking for people who, you know, need help, or maybe they're up to no good. So got a report of an individual up here who maybe a FileMaker license. Well, it's potentially expired. Looking at the back of that car right there, looks like the FileMaker license has expired. So we just want to probably talk to him and see if he's aware his license expired, right? Sir, are you aware that your FileMaker license has expired?
Nah, I just need to get these reports done.
Well, sir, I'm just trying to, you know, let you know that you might want to get that registration handled and get that renewed, so, you know, you're in compliance with the software, because clearly you're using this here, and if you're going to use it, you need to pay for it, right?
I'm not gonna f***ing pay you or f***ing pay anyone for this software.
Sir, I need you to step out of the vehicle. Sir, step out of the vehicle. Sir!
On the ground! Give me your hands! Stop! 13, I got one auto ban commands. He's yanking his hands away from me.
We got a call from Claris, and they were a little concerned about this guy running wild like this. So we wanted to keep the public safe and preserve the law, you know, and it's really important about preserving the law and keeping everyone safe. You know, that's why we go to work every day.
Bad boys, what you want, what you want, what you gonna
So hopefully you had as much fun watching as we did. Very much awesome. So basically what we want to do is make sure we ask questions, answer questions along the way. We are going to actually seriously have a conversation about things that should be jokes in the world of FileMaker, but unfortunately they're not, right? And so if you feel slightly guilty what you're about to see, then you want to, well, we'll extend to you. Well, we'll be nice. We're not going to identify or embarrass anyone specifically. So first off, things that should be an April Fool's joke, right? How you build a FileMaker file, right? When you're learning is one thing, and then after some of you have been doing this for years and years and years, I'm looking over here at the comments. And Miles, if you have comments or questions, surprisingly enough, it's hard for me to read with my eyes like this, read the questions that we have. So, you know, mostly this is when I'm looking for a snack, I'm going to eat someone. But if you could help me with the questions and answers, that would be really awesome. So, first off, if you're going to build a FileMaker interface, right? Normally what happens is people build stuff and it's black and white, and then they realize that FileMaker has an unlimited assortment of colors. And so we call this angry fruit salad. And so this is kind of what you tend to see sometimes. If I click over here and I press where's the button there? Can I make it full screen? There we go. So this is an interface that we that was submitted to us for review. And the guilty parties here will be anonymous, but this is what happens when you keep adding and adding onto a project. Now, if you built this, it makes a certain amount of sense, right? I mean, the idea is that you built it, you understand it, makes sense. Let me see, bring that back. Come back here. Where'd it go? Okay, it's in its little mode where it's kind of locked into super screen mode. So the idea is that you build it, you understand why things are up here the way they are. This section's here, this section's here. It makes sense to you. The problem with angry fruit salad is that when you bring new people in, they are totally overwhelmed. You want to build an interface that as people come to your organization, they want to work, they're going to be able to learn this and be able to understand the system. And if you have a screen like this and you hire someone, they probably might be, unless you're paying them a ton of cash, they may not want to work there because they think you're insane. Because basically, they're afraid they're never going to be able to learn it, and they're scared to death about not being able to learn it. So that's really a concern. So while this should be April Fool's, this is not April Fool's here. We have another one right here. This one is not as bad, realistically. It's actually, I don't know, I could even see, well, the green up there is just a clash of colors. And once again, these are colors that people throw up, and they have, fields missing, things they should fix. So the idea is that you really need to think about why this is like this, and, is it really serving your users well, right? So that's the question, right? Does it serve your users well? Now, that's why we build FM Starting Point. FM Starting Point is an example of what things could look like if you build it with a consistent interface. Now, you may not like the colors of Starting Point. You might want something totally different. Clearly, this is kind of semi-chaotic to chaotic, and this other one is just plain nasty, right? So that's what we call just plain nasty. So once again, if you happen to be the person who created those, don't feel bad about it. It's just kind of the way that is sometimes, right? So, so the next thing I want to point out is that relational design diagrams, right? And everyone's like, oh my God, I can't believe he's going to bring this up. So what it is that you have relational diagrams. They start off simple, and you keep adding and adding and adding, and what you end up is something that looks a lot like this right here. So I'll pop this up full screen. You can look at this. We had a customer who brought this to us who was concerned that they were having a hard time understanding how to create a report. And I'm like, dude, I just don't know where to start. So I think in this case of this customer, we actually went back and fixed this for them. They paid us to fix it. We organized it. Now, this is a spider diagram. And so we had another one of our engineers submit to us something that they had done where they cleaned up the spider diagram. And I thought, well, it's pretty almost good, almost really good. And so what this one is right here, I'm going to do, whoop, that's not good. Let me try that again here. Let's see, full screen. Doop. So what this is a kind of was a spider diagram. In fact, on the left is kind of kind of either a selector connector, anchor buoy, whatever that is. And on the right side is a spider, but it's been organized. Now, the difference here is that you've got a lot of TOs that, while it looks organized, you could probably find stuff. You can't find stuff because the names are very similar. And that's why when we get into naming and numbering things and starting point, we make it a real serious habit to make sure that we are going to number things. So I can tell people to go to a specific item, right? If I go up here, I go full screen, you can actually look at this. You could even zoom in if you wanted to. See if I can zoom in a little bit. Yeah, it's going to let me zoom in. So let's see if I'm just going to zoom, but it's not going to give me a lot of controls. But you can see where things are numbered hierarchically. And so that if you're on the invoice screen, because we're using anchor buoy, right? The idea is that you would have the ability to identify automatically when you have a layout and people are interacting with it, it's going to be an anchor. And the supporting items over here are the buoys, and we've numbered them. Okay, so you can find them. So that's kind of what this one is right here. If I come up here. So Miles, you have questions along the way right now?
Not really questions, just people cringing at what they're seeing. And
yeah. Well, and the one here I thought was a good one to point out, that it was organized, but I don't know you could find things because without the numbering sequence, I think you're going to have a problem with that, right? So anyway, so that's kind of the fun that goes on with that. Okay, so where are we at with questions? Yeah, I know. Wow is right. It's kind of cringeworthy, but listen, every person who ever built a FileMaker file, if they tell you, oh, you know, I am perfect in all the ways, and and I only build things that look beautiful, right? That's all lies. Everyone has done this. I've done it. Largely, most of my sins have been cleaned up and erased over the years, but everyone does this, right? And so it's really important to understand that these aren't April Fool's jokes, or at least these bad ones up here are not. And they are fixable. You can go back in there and fix them. And the issue, once again, you can have an interface that looks like this. And as long as you're the person who built it and the team that you have that helped you build it, see, I'm moving my hands here. So as long as the team that you have is building it, is still there, then they understand where everything is at. But if you, on the other side, have basically you keep changing staff, or people come or go or whatever they're doing, then what ends up happening is that brand new people come into this and they see just tyranny and mayhem and chaos, and they're afraid they'll never learn the job, and you'll be mad at them. And frankly, I totally get that. So not a good sign. So if you're interested in learning more about the interface design stuff, it's part of our video course here. So let me just cover this. A lot of what we do in here is point people where to get the detailed training at. We do dig in here, but we only have frequently an hour or so. And we've already wasted it with our April Fool stuff in here. But let me just take a look here. So you can go to driving the computer here. It can be tricky. Individual courses. So if I go into the current 18 course, whoop, not that course. Oh, maybe that was it. Oh, that is it. And so I go over here and I go under Anchor, A-N-C, is it A-N-C-H? Is that good enough? Anchor buoy. Yeah, anchor buoy methodology. So that's going to be video, if I can read it with my eyes, 1130 and 1131. These are really educational, explain to you how to build that relational diagram that you see right there. And then, of course,
in this video,
whoop, now it's playing and I hear it. That's a little much. And so then, of course, we have a separate course on UI design. If you bought our bundle, you'll get this course as well. This is where Nick goes through some strategies on building user interfaces, especially making the user interfaces translate to iPad and to iPhone, and making sure they slide and they scale out correctly. So if I do this, let me just do that. So then this is user interface design courses. And it's all from the brain of Nick. It might seem like it's something else, but I may have voiced over it because sometimes Nick is hard to understand. And
in this video,
I don't want people
pick up right where the last video left off.
I don't want people to feel like I'm picking on Nick. It's just, English is not his first language, so sometimes that can be tricky. So anyway, yeah, so questions along the way about this stuff? I'm looking here. I have a question. FileMaker developer subscription? What is he saying there, Miles? It's hard to read with my T-Rex eye.
Yeah, he's asking about the FileMaker developer subscription. If you get that and a new version comes out, do you get upgraded or you
Yeah,
just
it's
wait?
a subscription, so you get the products for that year, your license for the year. So like that Cops episode where they chase you down, they beat the crap out of you and throw you in the back of the car. Yeah, so you need to pay the subscription or quit using it at the end of the year, but you get all the current updates. So if you had it right now, then you get the 19 version of that developer subscription. So yeah, so it's a pretty good deal. I was working with sliders and Go yesterday. Nice stuff. Yeah, iMog. So, yeah, iMog's like a baby puppy if he's 31. You guys are asking each other ages. As you get older, you learn that certain things you cannot ask people, and once is their age. And if you want to stay out of trouble, you don't ask or talk about politics either, because that's always trouble. So, anyway, more questions. Questions, Miles?
No, just some comments about reiterating what you said. Everyone kind of gets messy at some point, but then with training and learning, then you get cleaner. So.
Okay, great. Well, we are, once again, now's a good time to ask questions if you have a relational diagram question or UI design question. We don't really have Nick here. Nick is the resident UI design expert. We could have him come in, but he's thinking about doing a lean design course, which would be kind of, we would tie it to this. Instead of doing live training, we'd just do that lean design course. And we get Nick going every day, and he runs for an hour, hour and a half, and then we have to actually kind of stop him because he just runs wild too much. And but yeah, questions about design or relational, the anchor buoy stuff, right? Once again, spider diagram is where everything just connects together. So you have one thing, but then it all connects. So everything is connected to everything else. And doing anchor buoy simplifies things quite a bit because it allows you to, if you're in like starting point, for example, I'll open up starting point here briefly for those of you who don't understand why this. But anchor buoy has a lot of good ideas. Never mind the fact the idea is that if you're in here, you want to be able to easily see what's driving this layout. And so if you go to field definitions and you look at this, you can easily go, which one was that? That contacts? So you go to the contacts section, so you look for the big letters that say contacts. So this is the TO attached to the layout. Without even me looking at it, I know. And there's a gap there that needs to be filled in, I guess, but just for alignment, but these are all the things that drive that layout, right? And they're all numbered and etc. So it's also useful. I go ahead and escape, I close it, I go to layout mode over here. Nothing like watching a Rex code in layout mode. This is pretty impressive. So if I go over here and I want to drag a field down here, I can drag, I think that's a field there. I can drag it down like in here somewhere. And what it's going to do, it's going to show you this window here. You can pop, but these are just the relationships that you care about, right? Because this is your anchor right here. And these are the unrelated things that you don't care about, and there's a ton of them in starting point. And if you had a spider diagram, they would all be mixed together. They wouldn't be two groups with a subsection right here. That makes sense? So this is really kind of, there's all these benefits. First off is that the ones that you care about are at the top and grouped together. They're numbered. It just makes life so much better. And we do have a PDF that covers how we do this. That's actually part of our training. Once again, we put everything into our video training. So if I go into the work files, we're actually working on the work files for 19, but if you went to the work files over here, you'd probably be able to find the PDF on hierarchical design, probably a PDF on relational organization or something like that. I'd have to dig through here and look for that. But anyway, we covered a new script step today that they're adding in 19, and then we added the charting update that we did the other week. So if you have any questions about that, we do have the sample file here for that. Once again, as a reminder, I have to do it in my deep Jurassic Park voice, but this training session, this training is provided and sponsored by fmtraining.tv. fmtraining.tv. You come here and you check out the current live broadcast schedule, which should have my Trex photo in there. I think we'll have to update that. And then you can see the live training schedule, the current courses for the platform right now, and then the individual courses, and more importantly, the bundle. The bundle is really where you can save a lot of money. If you're interested in a discount, 50% off, not 50% off, correction, $50 off either one of these bundles, send an email to support@rcconsulting.com, and then we will help you with that. More questions? Interesting training. Miles, help me out here, baby.
Yeah, we got one. They're asking how much time do you usually spend with a customer prior to building the first round of layouts in terms of design?
That's a great question. It depends on what their needs are. I mean, Miles, you can answer this as much as anything else. You're a senior engineer, but if the customer has basic CRM kind of needs, listen, I mean, we have starting point. We will start with starting point by half the projects and then carve it up and use what we need. If a project's totally different, like we're building a system that tracks training for pilots or something, or the quality of lasers coming off. There's a company that makes lasers for military applications. We can't get into that too much, but the reality is they use FileMaker to ensure quality control during the manufacturing process, right? So that's very important. So yeah, it's neat stuff. But yeah, we spend time with them. So the more the requirements are, the more likely we are to do all that. So anyway, we're going to spend more time with them on the front end, and we start building layouts. We use kind of an agile design methodology. We talked about this yesterday a little bit. So the idea with agile is that you're going to build the layout and start to structure things and show it to the customer, and they can give you feedback. And really, if you have 2 or 3 things going for the customer at one time, you can build one, give it to them to review. You're working on number 2. They come back with feedback number 1, assuming that they don't derail everything. Sometimes the customers come back with totally different requests and requirements, things like that, and that can derail things. But as long as they're generally on track and they don't, I mean, we actually have had some customers that are kind of bipolar, and it gets kind of wild when they're having a good time and then a bad time. And then, you know, we had a customer yell at us the other day that the customer was using a feature in FileMaker we built for him. You know, a month goes by, then, or whatever it is, and then he calls us all pissed off. Hopefully that person's not on the call here. Calls us all pissed off that we stuck in behind him and broke his thing so we could charge him more to fix it. And we're like, yeah, it's not broke. So he yells at us, does all this stuff, makes us feel like shit. And then what happens is they go, oh, we're sorry. We were using the wrong version of FileMaker. We had FileMaker 18 on our computer, but we were using like 17 or 16, which doesn't have all the features. So we opened the wrong one, and then it wigged out. And so, of course, it's our fault because, you know, this person is kind of all over. And, of course, right now, you know, that's why T-Rexes apparently, I found this out, are immune to the COVID virus. We are, however, sensitive to asteroids. So COVID-proof, but asteroid, not so much. So, but, yeah, I mean, you know, you get people and they, you know, and it's always your fault kind of stuff. I mean, I'm not saying woe is me, but it's just managing customers. Listen, I talked to the engineers about this. Managing customer expectations and communications is a third of the job, right? A third of the job is your technical skills. A third of the job is work ethic. Those are the 3 secret formulas to being a great developer, although probably the 3 secret formulas to any job in the world. You could be a pilot, a professional pilot. You could be a doctor that's technically astute but can't talk to people and has no work ethic. What the hell is that? That's a lazy-ass doctor who people want to kill, right? So if you have a doctor that's technically good, communicates well, they call it good bedside manner, and then they have a good work ethic, man. So those 3 are like, I don't know, life secrets. So all of you who want to know the 3 secrets to life, I just gave them to you. So, and there's no charge for that at all. Although feel free to renew your training subscription to help feed the dinosaur. All right. Next question.
Yeah, we got one here. If you want to go back into the relationships and starting point, they were asking why we have some text in lowercase and some in uppercase.
Because we're morons and we probably weren't paying attention at the time. If I have the answer off the top, like up here and then down here, I guess. That's a lack of the engineers being focused on the numbering and the naming and the alignment, and someone wasn't really paying attention to that. If it's this section here, if it's inside the text in here, generally, it's not so much the uppercase or lowercase. What we're looking at specifically is it's a hierarchical number, so TO2. Then it should really be A through Z down that way, kind of like that. If they get out of order for a little bit, we'll resequence them. We call it resequencing. We take a junior engineer who doesn't know anything, and we say, just renumber these in order. And it's always like the torture job for the junior staff, right? So they really love that. So anyway, whoops, I just moved that, I think. No, I didn't. It just flashed. So what we do is then we give it the name of the parent, and then we actually explain what it's connecting to. So this is the parent side of the relationship here. So it's calendar on one side, and on the other side is the table that we're connecting to. Typically, that's how this is supposed to work. So calendar to preferences, calendar activities. Then what it does is it shows you based upon what criteria or what relationship. So you'll have some of these that make more sense. Like if you go to like contacts, like you'll have, it's going to connect to, let's see, accounts via ID account, right? So the account, this is a relationship right here that connects to accounts via this ID account. So instead of coming in here going, oh, there's this relationship here, and I don't know what it does. You can tell what it does because it's connecting the two sides in with that field right there. Now, if I double click here, it's going to say the same thing, but why double click all day? So the idea is to have a standard naming convention that helps you with that. How and why we do this and the logic of that is all covered in scripts, in videos 1130 and 1131 in our FileMaker platform training course. Next question.
I'm looking. I think that's the last one we had.
There was one here. Someone was asking about what's in FileMaker 19. If you want to see what's in FileMaker 19, just go to FileMaker's website and read some of the promises they're making on the website. And then some of those things might be in 19 and some of them definitely not. I think they try to differentiate near-term promises and long-range promises. But yeah, so anyway. Oh, and then by the way, anyone remember the conversation about FileMaker Cloud where we said that there was a issue with connecting public-facing websites to Cloud 2? Basically, FileMaker came back after they actually understood what their problem was, and they went, oh yeah, you're right about that. And so we don't have it really turned on so you can easily access public websites and do this. However, if you use these non-approved, non-standard, non-supported little blocks of code, which are supported by weird people who you don't know who they are, and you trust those weird people to build the code for you, then you can grab their code, stick it in, and it'll work. And basically, if you're a professional platform for mission-critical applications with a professional company, so ask Apple if it thinks it's professional or not, and then you would have to go to Claris and say, are you professional or not? And they say, oh yeah, we're totally professional. And then you go to tech support and say, hey, how do we do professional access to Cloud 2 for a public-facing web page? They basically say, yeah, we're thinking about it or something. So anyway, so if you want public-facing website access to your cloud, to your FileMaker database, do not use Cloud 2 for now. Do not. It doesn't support it. And if you do use it, you're using some random dude's code that we don't know who they are. It's not even like another developer that I know. I don't even. My engineer was looking at it. I had no idea where this code had come from or who supported it or, trust it, etc. It's like, no bueno, Jose. So why are we congratulating iMog? What did iMog do? Everyone's congratulating him.
He's leaving a job, but they're letting him continue to be the developer for the database.
Ooh. So I guess that's good, or maybe that's not good. Depends if his previous customer is bipolar and they scream at him in a conference call. Which case he might just want to leave entirely. But anyway, yeah. So, well, this is the T-Rex Job Counseling Hotline. How may we help you today? Right. All right. Any other questions from people? It's kind of like a quiet day. I think everyone's running around. April Fool's Day. They're not sure whether this is serious or not. I'm trying to keep it serious. You know how hot it is in here and how much suffering I have to suffer for you people to make an awesome video? I mean, seriously, it's like really warm in the Rex here. Rex is warm. What I need is a cold, frosty beer, but I don't know how to get that in here. Miles?
Yeah.
When do you expect the release of the FileMaker 19 training? Whenever FileMaker 19 ships is the short version to answer that. Basically, FileMaker is going to a launch schedule once they're done with 19, where they're going to update the product every 3 months or 4 months or whatever they're going to do, be pretty often. So our training really is we're right now. This, for those of you who wonder about this, I guess I could explain this now or not. But normally our training is an annual training, so you get 12 months. You do 12 months of training. and then you get the next version. That's all going away because FileMaker's making that go away. And so what we're going to do is you either will be current on the subscription or you won't be current. And if you're current, then as new videos come in every month or two, whatever they're coming in, you will see those pop into your video player. We have that new Vimeo-based video player, works great on Windows and Mac and everything else. And so you'll see them come in automatically. If you're out of subscription, you'll see new videos come in, but they won't play because your subscription you haven't renewed the subscription. So that way, we're treating it kind of like FileMaker. So either you're current or you're not. If you're not, then whatever videos you had previously will work. But any new videos that you'll see in there that you might want to press play on won't run. So once again, please support your local T-Rex person. So anyway, people talking about uninstallers, didn't remove it. Yeah, talking about a server. People talking about planes that people fly. So I don't know if that's directed to me or not. Miles, are you looking at this conversation? Or are we just driving around that, or what's going on here?
Yeah, they kind of all came in at once. The first one, I tried to upgrade to FileMaker Server 18 and got an error message, can't delete FM user or something like that. Tried using uninstaller and it didn't remove it.
Can I suggest you send an email to support@RC Consulting, and Jacob Taylor, our server guy, will be happy to read your email message, and he will type a response back to you or call you. And if you don't want to handle it yourself, then you can, pay him an hour or whatever, and he can do it for you. But you may have to blow out that server and reformat it. Uninstallers frequently don't work. This is kind of the facts of life with that. Next question.
Let's see. So something about how much space they have for Cloud 2, and they want to store container fields outside of the database.
We covered this the other day. Is this the same person asking the same question about Cloud 2 and external containers? So, okay, so when you have a container, you either store the data internally. So let me just come over here. Let me just go through this real quick, since obviously this was not clear. So over here we have a container right here. So I'm going to go to layout mode. So we have a container right here. That's actually just the icon for it. I'm going to move it out of the way. There's the container. That's the field right there. And so this field is called whatever it's called. I can't even read that name on there, Miles. What does it say? Contact container photo. Okay, great. So I'm going to go to field definition. I'm going to look at contact container photo. So I'll go fields, contact container photo right here. So this actually is currently stored internally, which is interesting. Oh, that's right. We ship starting point is set to use all internal because we don't want people's brains to overload. But we do caution people that if you're going to use it really heavy duty, you go back to containers and you set them for external. So you come in here, you say storage, and you say the container data should be externally. You don't have to really worry about this too much. This one has a name on it. It's fine. Normally you want to do secure storage. There's some important reasons for that. I'm not going to get into them at the moment. Never mind the security part of it. I said over and above in terms of it overloading the server. The secure storage is really useful for that. So you say okay. You say okay. So if we right now this database is locally here. And so I hit OK, and it's going to do these transfers, and it's working on these records that I had, the sample records. So if I was on the server right now, the server would be doing the same thing and moving them externally to a directory parallel to the database directory. So it's automatic, okay? So if that, is he talking about that or something else?
That would be my guess, but I don't know. I haven't got a response since.
Okay, so, all right, so there's a conversation. I see all sorts of stuff coming in here, Miles. Are you looking at this? How much space do you have for Cloud 2? Okay, well, so the container data in terms of the storage and space and everything like that, to be clear about it, they don't separate that. They keep it dumbed down, right? So if you have a ton of storage, you'd have to look at the specifications for that. Most people don't. Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, did you look at the website and see what it said? I hate to be a dumbass. Let me see. Claris. Okay, I hope I typed Claris correctly. I can barely see the keyboard here with the T-Rex. And I got oh, that's right. If I was a Trex, then I have my. Let me see if I can do that. Where's my Trex face? No, am I hiding over here? Is that where I'm at? Oh yeah. So if I have my tiny little hands, right? If I had tiny little Trex hands, it'd be like this, right? So you come over here to pricing, and it says that's data transfer, 3 apps. Oh, storage. Storage is 2 gigabytes of FileMaker data storage per user per year. So if you had, so it's real simple. It's 5 times 2, which is the entry level position. So you get 10 gigabytes covers the live database. You have so for your one snapshot of live databases, you get 10 gigs. That's how that works. Okay, makes sense. So you get 10 gigabytes. So if your whole system is more than 10 gigs, then you'll need to buy a larger allotment here, or go into the interface and expand. Can you expand the size? Can you expand the amount of storage? Oh, let's see. So we were talking about that in the, let's see about this. Go to hosts, go to show hosts. Let me see if I can do this here. There's my FileMaker cloud. Can I do that? No, let me just see. FileMaker cloud account. Okay, we got that. We got, let's see, Cloud Do Demo Launcher. And then I want to open the, we could try this one here. It's probably going to make me log back in, though, I'm sure, right? So this is back from our Cloud 1 conversation, right? Miles, you still there? Because I'm not hearing anything, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh, someone's not happy, though. Oh, that's Miles is on home duty with the kid is why. Baby Rexes. All right, so we go to subscription over here, and you can right here you could go in here and change this. So you could change you can upgrade your subscription. You can upgrade these areas. You can upgrade the number of users. When you upgrade the users, these actually increase automatically. But if you wanted to leave the users the same right here, you could increase the storage right here, or increase the size of the server right here. Of course, they're going to give you a quote for whatever that price is going to be. It'll be some new price, right? So, other questions? No, upgrade available. It says, well, are we talking about mine, or what are we talking about? Who's he talking about? iMog is talking. I can't see. So, anyway, in my so on the 19. Okay, so here's the deal. On the $19 tier. Okay, that's a good point on this, and I kind of forgot about this. On the $19 tier, what they're trying to do is give you the basics that you need. Most people don't need. Even my corporate systems, altogether, they're like 20 gigs, but that's because I've been in business for 30 years. Most people don't have a 10 gigabyte file. So if they had 5 users and not a 10 gigabyte file, they could live in here pretty easily. But FileMaker wants to give you an incentive to make you pay like double the money. And so that's where it comes in over here. So these, we talked about this during the cloud conversation. These are not changeable in my subscription because I have the $19 tier. I don't need more than that. And this is for a demo. So I'm paying, $1,145 a year to show you, because I don't use it personally, to show you what this product does and how it works, right? So that's what I do. And so if you actually pay the more money, right, then you would have the option to pay more money on top of that. So basically, you have to pay more money, and then they give you options to pay more money over here if you want. If what I just said makes any sense, then you are awesome. I'm glad I was clear on that. So it's kind of a, I get it. I get the goofy conversation. It's just kind of the way that is. So, other questions? If you want more storage, you have to change plans. So, yes, right. So, yeah, welcome to that. So, 10 gigabytes aggregate for iMog, but it's not. It doesn't include backups because backups are kind of this weird thing. So, it's just a snapshot of your file. I'm pretty sure how they calculate that out. All right. Any other questions? Questions. David, are you there? Any questions from David Castillo?
No questions for me either, but I am here.
Wow. Okay, great. Yeah. So there we I think we covered all that. So there's once again that 1 minute delay, 1 minute 90 seconds, that kind of stuff. So cool. So yeah. So David, yeah. So anyway, yeah. So it's interesting to see what's going on. Once again, if you're watching this video and we are talking to people, that's because it's live training, and you get to ask questions in live training. However, the random spontaneity of topics where we're wandering all over answering questions, because today is kind of a goofy day. What's on the plate for tomorrow? What shall we be discussing tomorrow, you say? Well, we will be covering, when I go to fmtraining.tv and I hit the live tab over here, tomorrow we'll be covering the tools menu, which will be fun. We're going to have fun. I'm not going to even prep for that. We're going to do it cold, except for the kiosk thing, which could blow and destroy everything. So I will make sure we have a quit button on our application before the kiosk. Because if I have to force quit things, we are screwed because it'll disconnect the broadcast. That could be really unfortunate. And then Friday, we're doing the basics of CRM or CRM-related questions. If you have questions about the CRMs in general. For those of you who are, I see someone here making $100,000 a day or something like that, or whatever he's doing, then yeah, you probably don't need to come to the what is a CRM and how to make it work for you in FileMaker. Monday will be interesting. That's going to be the deprecated features event. That's where we go through the things that FileMaker's pulled out, at least the things that I care about. They pulled out some things that I don't even care about, in which case we will research and pull those up. But yeah, we're going to go back to the history of deprecated features and talk about them. Some of you will be wringing your hands with angst because they're pulling out the runtime and they're pulling out the peer-to-peer at some point. But they've given good answers for the giving you a $99 option on the peer-to-peer, and then the runtime is, you know, I think someday they're just going to do runtimes. I think, or not runtimes, they'll just give pro away. But that's, once again, fictional make-believe April Fool's Day. So, here's the thing. I thought about coming today and telling you guys that FileMaker Pro was free today. And the problem is that someone would see this video and it's not April Fool's Day and they would lose their minds. And so, for example, it was really kind of funny. When we did the cops videos, I know that frequently certain people at certain corporations don't have a sense of humor. And so we didn't post the video into their threads directly. A lot of times we do help videos. It will go to places where certain people at certain corporations can see things, and sometimes they don't like what I say because, you know, I'm not a sales guy. I don't always tell you FileMaker is the most amazing product and it solves everything you need at all times and give us $1 billion, right? I don't do that. So if it's bad, I tell you. If it's good, I tell you. And so when I have a video that's like a little bit more slightly critical, or it looks like I might it might imply that Claris called me and then we beat the crap out of someone who didn't do a license. Now, some people steal FileMaker and they don't steal one copy. They're stealing, like, the state of California at one point was stealing 3,000 copies of FileMaker. This dinosaur shits you not. It's a true story. This is a true story. And FileMaker basically was in a process of pulling the Apple lawyers and filing a lawsuit against the state of California. And the people down there who were stealing it got hauled in by the internal Department of Justice people, and it got ugly, and then they magically settled out of court, and they ended up paying like $20 a seat or $10 a seat for the year. And normally FileMaker would be like $108 kind of per user per year, whatever. Well, whatever, $19. Well, now it's more, $19 times 12, whatever that is, right? But yeah, so I mean, so I've seen some big time theft of FileMaker. So, but see, if I did that and then someone saw it, they'd think, oh, Richard's telling people we beat people up. Seriously, that would happen, and that's just unfortunate. Never mind that it's a dinosaur talking to you. So, all right, Miles, we about good?
Yeah, we got one more question that's kind of off topic if you want to answer it, or we could save it for another day.
Go ahead.
It's how do you export containers, like if you have a bunch of JPEGs and container fields, to a folder on your desktop?
Yeah, you're gonna have to run a loop that's going to kick them out. You can there's an automatic import function for containers, but I don't think there's a bulk carpet bombing of containers outbound. I mean, obviously there's plugins and stuff, but what you would want to do is if you go into starting point, what you're going to want to do is steal some of the code. We already have code in here. We've actually covered this in another session, but kind of obliquely. We have a function here somewhere. Let me move my Trex head out of the way for a second. Layout mode. And let me move over here. No, the button's already there. It's the, well, no. Where's the button to, wait a minute, am I on the right? Oh, I need to be, oh, sorry. I need to be on invoices. Is it here? Here, or is it hidden? I might have tossed that one away and done a new one. Hang on one second here. So you have the extended version. Yeah, here we go. So this button right here attaches to a script that you should check out. And basically what it does is this script, if I just put it up here for a moment and I double click it, it's going to tell me it runs script 1206. If I go to scripts, script workspace, keyboard shortcut, the Trex is using his tiny little hands, Control Shift S, right? Then what we do is we go to 1206, and then that didn't work at all. I told you 1206. There we go. And so what this does is it's going to perform this other script called, if I can see that, is that 1251? Looks like 1251. And so I'll do 1251, which is really the one we want to look at. And I did it again. 1251. There we go. And so if you go to 1251 right here, you'll go through the script steps and you'll see this part where it sets up a path to the desktop, right? It works through getting a path to the desktop, and then it sets that value, and then it does an export. So what you want to do is kind of right here, where if it says a PDF, you're going to set the file name and path, and then you're going to, well, actually, I mean, yeah, we have it. You know, that's actually even already in here, right? So, I mean, I'm thinking about this, and I think we already really have it covered. So if you go into documents right here, so I got a documents. All right, let me go and close that. I got this video right here. That's a really big file. Do I want it smaller and cuddlier? Let me see. Work file, something small and cuddly like here's a 300K PDF. All right, there we go. All right, so here's what we do. We're going to drag and drop into a container. So now we have a container. So now if you want to, you click on it and you want to say open selected. This script right here, you need to backtrack on this script right here. But if you backtrack on this script up here, what it will do is it's going to export it. Hello. There it goes. What it's going to do is it exports it to a temp directory and then opens it. It already saved it, right? Like if I go and delete this right here, let's say open. So it saved it into a temp directory. You could change the directory to be the desktop, right? So the idea is that you could just set this up and loop it and flip records and loop and go through. So the code's already in here for you. Me opening it, in order to open it, we had to export it to a location first. It's already exported, right? So that's how that works. Does that make sense, Miles? Am I making sense? Am I explaining it sufficiently well? I mean, basically, we've already built it for you. All I have to do is take it and hack that code that script calls up there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool. All right. All right, cool. Well, we appreciate everyone. Thank you for tuning in to April Fool's Day, where it's mostly serious except for the cops episode. If you're interested in the links to the cops episode, we will put them here in the Miles. If you want to find the YouTube videos for those, you can post those in here. That'd be great. Really appreciate that. Okay. All right. You want to go ahead and do that real quick so people can do that, and then I will go ahead and I guess we'll try to roll the end credits.
stepped up the whole way. Calm, cool, collected the quarterback. Great read, good patience. More importantly, great job up front protecting this quarterback to give you a chance. And that's all you can ask for.
Trying to rally down 10. 9:25 to go here in the fourth. Short motion by Amendola from the left. Brady takes the shotgun snap. Stands in, throws it left for Amendola. Reaches up and snacks a high throw and lands inside the 10. Rolling to the 9. Ball slightly behind him, but Danny makes the grab.